as you can probably see, it's a little taken apart right now. So just gonna wait for a couple more people to come in here. But normally we would have been uploading an episode today, but we're actually gonna be waiting another week because, well, you'll find out in the episode. But if you guys have any questions about the build, what we have planned, what we've done, what we plan on doing, just let me know.
Yeah, we had hoped to post the finale tonight, but we were at the dyno up until, was it yesterday?
We were at the dyno yesterday, and let's just say things didn't go exactly as planned. We're experimenting with this. As you can see right now, we have the intake manifold off, and if you want to take a look, Ben, if you want to come in here, you can actually see this is the CNC ported RN head with the oversized intake valves. So there's a pretty cool look at that. And then you got these are T5 blue injectors. And again, obviously we're running direct ignition coils. You can see where the old ignition coil used to be over there. Yeah, so we've got the intake manifold off right now. And I can show you guys why. You know, I don't want to say too much because you'll find out in the episode everything that happened, but the gist of it is the engine, there was a significant bottleneck on the engine that was preventing us from, we were running into issues, basically. One thing we're still working on is implementing the variable valve timing. So we've got a VAST tuning M4.4 ECU, and this has the capability to obviously control variable valve timing. So this is the wire for our ignition coils, and then the blue wires for our variable valve timing. Aaron is working on a very cool implementation for the variable valve timing. Basically, this is a turbo ECU, and this has an output for the TCV, the turbo control valve, which is what controlled the boost on the turbo engines. Since we don't have a turbo, we can use that output to control our variable valve timing. So normally, when Aaron does this with a turbo car, you can't use the TCV output because you need that for the turbo. So it uses the rear O2 sensor output. But that only allows for on-off VVT, which is not ideal. It's better than nothing.
Well, it's better than what VVT we have right now, which is what?
Right now we have a VVT cams, but VVT is not working. So it's effectively, the timing is fully retarded, which means we're losing a lot of low-end power, but we're still, we're still going to make our full top-end power. But if you guys remember in the series, we were experimenting with the Volvo VVIS intake manifold, the variable dual runner intake manifold. And, when we first pulled that off of our original engine, we looked at it and we thought it was cool and we wanted to test it out. But ultimately, we've come to a conclusion, and basically, we're going to test our theory on whether that was the bottleneck. Actually,
hold on, we do have some questions coming in.
Yeah.
Volvo Brick Challenge, I love that. He wants a friends and family discount after this ethereal experience we've all had together. You've been here since the beginning, so we appreciate that. Anonymous, greetings from Spain. Wants to know if we're going to be painting the car like the racing team from back in the day. We have some pretty good ideas for liveries.
Yeah, we have some ideas for livery. We haven't designed a livery yet, but we've been
looking
around.
at our race cars here, we're hoping for maybe a hybrid. So you can see our C300 over here, which hasn't been on the channel in a long time, and that evolved into the TCRs. And so hopefully something a little BTCC meets FCP Euro hybrid, right?
That's the plan, yeah. It'll be cool.
Let's see. Mesquite Automotive wants to know how slick is that top?
Oh, you got to check this out. This is our rare slick top. So as you know, these are very rare, these slick tops.
A lot of money, right?
A very rare slick top, yeah.
It is slick. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Long roof. Yeah, no sunroof leaks. Obviously, that's always a good thing. And you don't have all that weight on the roof, right? So, slick top.
Alex wants to know, why didn't you just get a C70 front-wheel drive with 2.4 and a P2 engine?
Oh, because wagons are cooler, in my opinion. I think a wagon's cool. You show up to a track with a station wagon, people are like, huh? And that's why we're kind of, inspired by the BTCC estate car. So we got ourselves an 850 estate. But C70s are cool. I love C70s.
The Volvo Brick Challenge is telling us to buy some carbon fiber wrapper strips for, I think, for the weather strip. Or the
Oh yeah, I actually have some new trim panels coming in. I mean, this car was $850. It was pretty rough. I mean, overall, it's not in bad shape, but it could use some love. I mean, we did install some 850 E-codes.
Yeah, these
along
were
with
in the last
corners.
episode, right? So we got the corners in there.
We got the corners in there now, so we're full E-code in the front. So that's nice. And they make a huge difference. And this is a cool little piece.
MKLamo? Which engine and transmission is most reliable for a V70?
Honestly, one of these. I mean, naturally aspirated. They're all reliable, but obviously a naturally aspirated engine, you're gonna run into less problems. I mean, that's kind of part of the reason why I wanted to do NA is because there's a lot less stuff to worry about. You can just beat on this thing all day long on the track, and Volvo really overbuilds their stuff. The cooling system is really good. Like, you're not really gonna run into many issues. Yeah, I mean, any of the 2.3 turbos and the P80s. Are you talking about P80 or P2? That's another whole other question as far as reliability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex wants to know what mods were in the engine. So can you talk a little bit about that again?
Yeah, I can actually
quickly, but
yeah. So as far as mods on the engine, so this is an RN motor. This is a P2 RN 2.4 liter naturally aspirated engine, and this engine has had head work done to it. So the bottom end is stock. The bottom end on an RN engine is an improvement over our old engine, and I can actually show you our old engine. But if you look here, you'll first notice the intake valves, the intake ports. It's been CNC ported, oversized intake valves. It has NM-Y21 cams, which have a 264 duration and about 9.5 millimeters of lift, I believe.
something we might.
Yeah, I mean the 264s are a good compromise for just a broad power band. But if we really want to go crazy, maybe we'll go 280s. But 264 is way more aggressive than what's in here. I think they were originally like a 228 or 230 duration cam. So it's definitely it's definitely nice. It's not like it's not crazy, but it should it should be fun. And if you want to take a look, so these are the intake ports on here. We actually have their original engine over here. This is the engine we pulled out of the car.
Shop's a little bit of a mess right now.
Yeah. So if you come over here, you can see it's quite a significant difference in intake ports on this.
We are going to be doing a teardown of this engine, right? Maybe in I think probably next week or the week after, a little bit of bonus footage. We'll be doing a full teardown of this engine.
Yeah, I mean, we're just curious. Like, this thing has well over 300,000 miles on it, and we know what it put down on the dyno, and I'm just curious, like, what does it look like inside? What does a 300,000 mile Volvo engine look like inside? So, but yeah, so this is the N engine. This has hydraulic lifters. That has solid lifters. That has a different crankshaft, longer rods. There's a number of improvements over what's already been modified on that. So
should we give a little bit of
I'll
an
give you
explanation as to why we're not posting a video tonight and
why the engine's apart a little bit. So I mentioned earlier that we were playing around with a VVIS intake manifold. So this is the variable dual runner intake manifold that actually pulled out of the 850. Now it's actually kind of weird because apparently these were only found on 93 and 94 850s. However, this was on my 95 850 for whatever reason. But this is cool. I mean, in theory, this is very cool because you basically have two sets of runners and you have flaps inside and you're able to control basically the valves opening and closing, directing where you want which runner, the short runner or basically both runners, right? So at low RPM, you would have it closed so that there's less volume but more air velocity, which will help you, make torque and low end power. And then once you need more volume, it opens up to both runners, and that's how you can make power at the top end. And we went to the dyno with this manifold, and we found that it works as it's intended. However, it turned out to be a bottleneck, even with
we think
our theory is we think this was a bottleneck even with it open. If you just look at it visually, you'll see there's a lot going on here. It's not very open. Like there's a lot of, it's just not very large ports. There's a lot of material in the way between the flaps and the split between the upper and lower runners. There's just, it's not, it doesn't look the best for flow. Cool in theory, but in practice.
So that's why the car's apart.
Yeah. So this is a non-VVIS intake manifold. Now, first of all, this thing is significantly lighter, obviously. There's a lot less going on here, but if you look, and we've port matched this already to the RN head because you need to open up these ports quite a bit for that head. But as you can see, it's totally wide open. I mean, look inside. Like there's no question whether that will flow better than this. You know. So basically, we tried this out and it worked. But we're going to try this out and see what kind of difference this makes for our ultimate peak power. Because, well, we're just playing around and experimenting. So, obviously in the future we plan on doing, ITBs, and we'll go, like a full standalone engine management. But for now, this was easy enough to test. These, this intake manifold is readily available. This is a little harder to find. We were lucky to play around with it, but it's easy enough to switch between the two and see which one works best. So, I'm going to be throwing this manifold on the car. I'll send some data logs to Aaron, and we'll see what kind of change it makes. So that's basically the gist of why we're not posting an episode tonight, because we're going back to the dyno next week, and we'll compile all the footage from the dyno yesterday and the dyno next week, and we'll have a really, really good episode for you guys,
The Volvo Brick Challenge, and that's it feels so funny saying that name every time. Wants to know when we're getting the Southern New England Viking Wagon Squadron together.
Soon, hopefully, when we get our things go back to normal and get our cars and coffee going, and hopefully we'll have a lot of Volvos showing up at our cars and coffee.
No, we should figure out how to do a squad in a cruise somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
An 850 Caravan.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any other questions for Jacob? Anything about the car? Anything about FCP Euro in general? I know we don't really go live on YouTube very often.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys have any questions.
Chris King wants to know, do we know any tuning options for 2000 S70 Turbo?
2000 S70 Turbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple options. There's Hilton Tuning. Robert Hilton does tuning on those. There's Stevo. He's actually local here in Connecticut, also can tune those. But if you're looking for a simple flash that you can send logs to and refine, I'd look at Robert Hilton. But there's other options out there.
Let's see. Turbochild really wants a measurement from the brake rotor to the back of the spoke on the pegs. I want to see if those will fit my big brake kit with no wheel spacers.
Oh, if the pegs will fit your big brake kit?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so what brake kit do you have on?
Yeah, what brakes do you have on there, Turbochild? And someone else asked what brake pads we're running right now. So
we're just running some OE Volvo pads in it right now, just because we're driving the car around on the street. But before we go to the track, we're going to throw in probably some Ferodo DS2500s. A bunch of guys here had really good luck with that as a street track pad. So yeah, we're running the 302s right now, and we're going to test them out on the track. I don't think we'll have a problem with them, but I do have some other brake parts on the way to go a little crazier. But you gotta start one step at a time, right? So if you just do a bunch of changes to the car, we've already made a bunch of changes to the car. It's really hard to see what the differences make. So kind of take things in steps. But we do have some plans to upgrade from the 302s for sure. But the pegs can accommodate most.
He's got rear Touareg brakes.
Rear Touareg brakes
on the front of the 850.
Really?
4-piston Brembos.
Interesting. And what size are the discs?
S60R rotors. Oh, that should probably fit over S60R rotors, right?
Yeah, it depends on how slim the caliper is. If we could take some measurements for you if you want to send us a DM.
Colin said, "Are you aware that this is a rare, fabulous beast and a slick top to the top?"
Yeah.
Jake was asking if we plan to fit the P2 Brembos to the 850. We talked about making our own brackets, right? And we might look at what else is out there, but
yeah. So the reason why, and you guys probably know this, there aren't really any real adapters out there, available for P2 Brembos. And the reason for that is because of the design of the Brembos. I don't have any with me at the moment. I have them at home, but basically the ears of the mounting holes on the Brembo calipers are not in a favorable position to make adapters that fit on 850 knuckles. I mean, if you saw in the episode where we talked about, we talked about the brakes, you'll see that we had a set of adapters that I just happened across. They were not good. The design was not good, and there was really no way of making a better design unless you made some significant modifications to the knuckle, which in reality you don't want to do, right? If we want to make a brake kit, you want it to basically go on without having to modify the knuckle. So the only other way you could do it is possibly modifying the caliper, where you cut off the mounting ears and basically shift them so that they're in a better position.
Not super favorable.
Yeah, but no, I mean we have plans for brake kit. We actually might piece together a big brake kit here at FCP Euro for the catalog.
The 302's on there right now, right?
Yeah, so right now we have the 302s. So, and they're fun. 302s.
We actually want to test these on the track though, just so like when this goes to a big brake kit, we have data in terms of braking and lap time and that sort of thing. So it's a really good place to start the benchmark in terms of braking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up on the chat. P3 Volvo, T5, T6, or D5 for highway and simple on back roads. Alex wants to know.
I don't know, man. You can't go wrong with a diesel. We didn't get them here in the U.S., so I'm kind of jealous of that.
I don't want to spoil anything, but after the 850 project, Jacob does have a 240. What is it?
Oh yeah. So this is not my only Volvo. I have a few Volvos. So I do have an 84 240 diesel M6. So it's the 4-speed overdrive, and it's got the D24 diesel in it, and it's a pretty cool car. I love it. And then I also have a 94 940 turbo wagon. That's my daily driver. And I have an 04 V70R that's broken because it's an 04 V70R. And a couple other things, but yeah, I mean, diesels are cool. The diesel is something different for sure.
Definitely. We might have to break that out for a project down the road.
Yeah.
Although it's pretty great as it is.
Yeah, it's a cruiser. It's a cruiser. It's not fast.
No.
Definitely not fast.
Neither is this.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It will be. It will be.
Let's see. Does anybody have anything that they want to see in the last episode? Because we are going to take a pretty substantial break after next week's episode and kind of come back for the spring. Tail's been asked, and that's a good point. Do you have any track days planned? I think we'll probably be hitting probably some of the early NASA New England events or SCDA events at New Jersey Motorsports Park and at Lime Rock Park. Probably, hopefully, as early as March or April, maybe?
Yeah, we're hoping for March or April. Yeah, like Ben said, like this next episode, the episode's coming out next week, is going to be, we'll consider it the finale for season 1 of this project. So the rest of the winter, we're going to take a break from, posting episodes. We're still gonna be working on the car. We're still gonna be filming. I mean, we've been posting every week, but it took a lot of time to actually do all this. It didn't happen week by week, but yeah, once we pick back up, we'll be at the track and shaking the car down. I think that'll be a lot of fun. We're actually our plan is to take the car to the track with the stock seats in it, just to see how we get thrown around in there. I mean, these are the cloth seats, so they hold you in a little better than leather. But we do plan on, obviously.
Look at this bolstering. That's nice bolstering.
Yeah,
That'll hold you in.
The cloth holds you in better than leather. But we'll definitely just for fun, we're gonna do that for the first track day. But we'll strip the car out. We'll do some, seats and steering wheel and eventually a cage, and we want to see what we can get it down to as far as weight. Obviously, the pegs are not going to stay on there forever because those are heavy wheels. But a lot of guys track on these wheels. They're strong. I also have a set of Tethys that I may throw on, but also our brake options might limit us too. So
we've got a few people asking compression ratio on the current engine.
So the current engine is completely stock bottom end. So whatever the B5244S came with, I believe it was 10-1. compression.
And Corey's getting a little overzealous. Yesterday at the dyno, he's talking about 13 to 1.
Corey was talking about, so the future for this engine. Corey's got some really interesting plans, but
He's got big aspirations.
big aspirations for this. He wants to do like 13 to 1 compression, and I mean that's really where you make the power when you increase the compression. An engine is an air pump, right? Air in, air out, right? So obviously headwork, cams, valves allows more air in, and with more fuel you make more power. But yeah, once you start going into the bottom end, that's when interesting things happen.
A slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. I mean, right now the engine is pretty simple, and the bottom end has 200,000 miles on it. Like this is not like a brand new engine by no means, but well run in, and it seems healthy. So
Again, good for baselining what we want to do.
yeah,
See what the car makes, see how it does on the track. We also don't, we don't know the future of this car, so we might want to fit it in a class one day.
Yeah.
If it's not just a cruiser, so that'll be a little bit dependent on the power and the weight. But anybody have anything else? I know this is obviously not for anybody that's joining, not a normal episode. We decided just to go live as the rest of the team's still editing the finale, and like Jacob said, we're going to be headed back to the dyno. We were there yesterday. We're going to be going there next Tuesday again to kind of wrap up this portion. We just wanted to do our due diligence and get it to a spot
Yeah.
where we were happy before we took a little bit of a break.
yeah.
Someone said Tethys would look nice on there.
Yeah, they're also a lot lighter than pegs. I think Tethys are like 22 pounds, versus these are like I think almost 26 pounds. So
Jeez.
it's a big difference. But yeah, I have a set. I just have to clean it up.
The contract said he was told to pay $12,000 for a new engine by a Volvo mechanic for a 2006 S60. When I took it in to check out why a lot of the white smoke and some oil was driven from the exhaust, that seems like a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's a new engine. I mean I don't think you need a brand new engine. You can always
If you saw anything from this, you saw how many junkyard trips Jacob made. I mean, even the manifold we showed you over there.
Oh yeah,
That
was
was,
a junkyard.
That was a junkyard probably 5 minutes after the dyno. Junkyard.
I was literally after we got off the dyno, I was like, I need to get that manifold, and just for sanity's sake, we need to test it. So, but yeah, I mean, half this car was built. I'm not gonna say half. This car was built using junkyard parts and parts off the shelf here, for the most part. It's you don't need brand new stuff, but stuff that you want brand new is brakes and the engine. I mean, if there's no reason to get a brand new engine. You can get one from a junkyard,
That's not uncommon for race cars in general, honestly. In the club racing scene, grabbing a spare junkyard engine to have on standby, it's not going to be fresh, but it might get you done for the weekend. So
yeah.
let's see. Anything else, guys? Anything you want to see for next week, or any other questions while we got Jacob here in the car?
Yeah, if there's anything you want to see on the car at all, I mean, walk through.
We should have had it up on the list. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, we could have shown you all the bracing underneath. I mean, you guys saw that in the other episode. This has a C70 convertible subframe with the solid inserts and all the bracing. It has the center
We
brace.
never really talked. I mean, it's kind of janky, but what we did for the battery relocation, not relocation, but just fitting the smaller battery. This is probably going to end up being relocated.
We'll
to
probably
the
move
rear
this
car.
to the trunk, but for now we put a small little racing battery in here.
And then we never really talked about this. Originally, we had on the end brace, and then the RN or
Yeah, this is the R. Yeah, we originally had the end brace on. This is the RN upper engine mount bracket.
we didn't think it was going to fit originally, right?
Yeah, because so there's a cam sensor under here, but it actually does fit. And then this obviously is the original cam sensor from the ME7 car, which is just sitting there as a plug, basically.
Jeremiah was asking why the seal. I don't know how to say it. Sealuids asked if will we fit all-wheel drive. If this thing goes all-wheel drive, it's gonna have more than one engine in it probably.
Yeah.
And then someone else, Jeremiah, had asked why the intake was removed, and that's something that we talked about a little bit before. But Jacob's got both intake manifolds over there.
Yeah. So we were talking about that before. We've got we were testing a VVIS intake manifold, which is Volvo's dual runner intake manifold, and that's what we originally had on the car, the dyno, yesterday. And we're going back on Tuesday with a non-VVIS intake manifold, and we're going to compare the differences basically. The VVIS manifold was cool to test, but
We got some cool footage in.
there's some cool footage there. We've got dyno graphs where you can really see the power graph with the VVIS activated, with it not activated, and then what RPM it switches at. It's a lot of cool stuff. But for testing, we're going to run it with a non-VVIS manifold. to see what kind of difference it makes.
Can you do a front sway bar install for a T6? I'm sure we can.
Yeah.
We actually, yeah, we're overdue for some in general Volvo DIYs. We got most of P2 covered, but we do need to get back into a few. What suspension are we running right now? These are BC coilover. Which one? Another.
So these are BC coilovers, running custom spring rates, 9 kg in the front and 5 kg in the rear. And then this, like I said, this has a C70 convertible subframe with solid inserts and 4-bolt control arms. And the center brace, and for the rear, we refreshed the Delta Link with new trailing arm bushings, new Delta Link ends, and we upgraded the rear sway bar with a Euro spec V70R rear sway bar, which is like the Öhlins suspension package in Europe.
We have that on the site now, right?
That sway bar is on the site, yeah. So
stock rad right now. Benjamin's asking, right?
stock radiator, stock Nissan's OEM radiator. The cooling system on these cars are really good, and obviously we removed the AC condenser. There's no more air conditioning in this car, so we've got a lot of airflow. There's no nothing blocking the radiator, and I don't think we're going to have any problems with cooling, especially a non-turbo car. It's really another benefit of having a non-turbo car is you don't have to deal with as much heat as well.
Right.
And turbo cars have AC condenser, intercooler, radiator. There's a lot going on.
Chris is asking for some P80 offering, more offerings on our catalog. So we'll have to talk to Adam about that, our catalog manager, and I know he has been working on it. So
yeah, we actually just we're launching DO88 stuff on the catalog as well. So that's exciting. But if there's stuff on the catalog for P80 or any Volvos or any cars, just let us know. We'll see if we can get that on the site for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Seeing if we have any other questions. Anything else, guys? They're chanting Adam, bring it in, we shall buy. Do we still do business with Snob?
So we're working on, we do still do business with Snob. We have some products removed due to availability issues, really. Problem is if we put stuff on the site, we want to make sure that when people buy them, that they actually get them. And so we're working with Snob on getting them back up and running when they're in a better position to keep up with the demand, basically. But yeah, we're working on getting more performance stuff on the site. That's a big initiative recently, so keep an eye out for that, for sure.
He's asking a strut tower.
Oh,
no, Hayes, what were you asking?
Yeah, so this is an
Strut tower.
actual Volvo. This is a Volvo strut tower brace. The factory Volvo strut tower brace. It's not factory as it came in these cars, but Volvo offered this strut tower brace. It's on the site as well.
It's pretty cheap too. Like we were surprised.
Yeah, I think it's like $80 on the site, and it's really well made. And it comes with instructions in Swedish, which is really cool. It's a cool piece. Very lightweight too. It's surprisingly light, but strong.
Yeah. That's some of the best parts of this build has been that it's kind of OE plus, right? Like a lot of the stuff has been.
Yeah, like a lot of
genuine
this.
Volvo are OE and pretty cheap on the site, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you're building a Volvo, you got to be creative. There's not a ton of aftermarket, compared to other cars. So yeah, we used a lot of parts from a lot of different Volvos in this car. So the C70 stuff, the C70 convertible stuff was really, I think for me, it was a really cool addition to the car. It really feels really rigid.
It's very rigid.
The chassis.
A few of us have driven it, and I think the car is gonna hop pretty good.
Oh, and it has the Quaife, the limited slip diff. That makes a massive difference. Having a limited slip diff is.
We'll grab you guys an OE number for the strap brace. We'll throw it in there. We'll pin it in the comments of this.
Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
And I know some other people came late. Since the last episode, we did finally get the E-code corners in, which is, I gave Jacob a hard time that I couldn't tell the difference, but I'm not a Volvo person, so. But I guess it does have a nice clean old OE look. Let's see, any chance? We'd love to carry the Quaife. I know we've talked to them in the past. I'm not sure they'll be on the site anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it is on our radar to carry.
Yeah, so the Quaife, so actually, I was lucky to get this Quaife because they were back ordered, for a long time. my friend Will had one sitting in his garage for a future project, and he's like, well, I'm not going to be putting this in a transmission anytime soon, so he sold it to me, and I'm sure he'll get another one.
Slight shout out to Will.
Will's been
He's a customer of ours, a friend of Jacob's, and he's definitely been an MVP of this build. He's helped with a lot of the legwork and finding parts here and there, and giving Jacob leads on stuff, which is I guess it's a cool part of the Volvo community, right? Everybody wants to see this thing come to fruition.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, nice. Tailspin already found the brace on the site. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Scott wants to know if we're going to stick with the V70R Pegasus wheels, or switch to something more race car like. We're definitely going to be going lighter.
Yeah. We're not going to stick with the Pegasus wheels. I mean, they obviously look, they look cool, but they're quite heavy.
Did we weigh them? I forget if we weighed them. I don't think we did.
We haven't weighed them, but these are not light wheels.
Yeah.
So we're gonna switch to something lighter. I have a set of Tethys that I may throw on, which are significantly lighter than the pegs, but we eventually will go to something much more motorsportsy. The nice thing about the pegs is that they fit larger brakes. They're not necessary for the 302s, but for the brakes that I have planned, we'll definitely need 17s to clear those. So.
Elliot wants to know, is the front bumper going to be replaced with a BTCC style one?
So
95, 96 Saloon ran the more aggressive front bumper.
Good question. I've seen those saloon bumpers, and they're very cool. The BTCC estate car actually had this bumper. It didn't have an R bumper. It didn't have the body was essentially stock on the BTCC estate car. The saloon car had the Aero, which was cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with the bumper. I may leave this bumper on just because the BTCC estate car had this bumper. But if if an R bumper comes along,
cough if anybody finds it.
I won't turn it down.
I mean, we do have plans though, right? So even with this bumper, Corey's talked about how much space we have up here. Obviously the manifold's off right now, but we might get creative with ducting. Potential. I don't know if we'll end up putting a splitter on here or anything like that. We find it necessary, but there's probably a lot of room for Aero if we go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of want to keep it a little bit of a sleeper for right now. I think it'd be fun showing up to the track with the car looking like this, and people wouldn't, it's part of the fun of owning a Volvo. I'm sure you guys know. It's unsuspecting people. Oh, it's just a station wagon. What's that? And you chase them down on the track. Surprise them. Hopefully. Hopefully. We'll see.
Let's see. Anything else, guys? We appreciate everybody kind of tuning in. We've had a solid group this whole time. And we were worried because it was a bit of a letdown. We really wanted to put up the finale today. But we wanted to do it full justice and give you guys a really solid last episode since it's going to be a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mauricio asked if we're going to lower it. I mean, when you do look at the old photos of the 850 estate, that thing is slammed.
Yeah, so this is kind of how the BCs came out of the box. We did lower the front a little bit, but we still have to corner balance the car and all that. We still have to dial in the ride height. I've been driving around on the street to dial in the tune on the car. So
you put in what, a good
probably put like
500 miles.
500 miles on the ar so far, just driving around the street, and so left the height how it is just so I don't have any problems on the street. But we'll definitely be doing a full episode on alignment, corner balancing, and setting the car up for the track really. So it'll definitely go lower for sure. I know the BTCC car was like tucking tires, kind of wild.
I have a feeling that everything underneath here has changed in the BTCC car though.
Oh, yeah.
There's probably a little more clearance.
There's probably a little more clearance, yeah. But
Cool.
and obviously these are just all seasons. It's winter here. We're in Connecticut, and it was actually snowing the other day, so we're running on some all seasons right now. But obviously before we go to the track, we'll have some sticky tires.
All right, I was worried it was going to come up. Elliot's asking. That was one thing. Did you put V70 rear lights on the car?
I had got these for free, and the other taillights were absolutely trashed. So I put these on because they look better. I know, it's not amber over here, and only the upper section is different. So if anybody has a set of clean 850 amber upper sections,
These were brand new,
I'll
basically,
take them.
right?
I mean, these are in great shape. The other ones were like chalk. They were bad. So yeah, I am gonna replace these with some proper 850 tails, but these look better than the other ones, at least for now.
Scott says he's got an 850R that's on air. The subframe is on the floor.
Oh man, that's wild.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out. Hopefully by the end of the summer or next fall, things normalize a bit, and I think it'd be cool to have a
Little gathering.
a big Volvo gathering here. We go on a cruise or something like that, and the 850 can kind of lead the pack. Carl asked, "Are you going with the Ultra Performance rear upper chassis brace?"
No, we have a actual factory Volvo upper chassis brace, which is it's funny I call it factory Volvo. It's made by Volvo, but it didn't come on the cars from the factory, obviously. But yeah, this is a really cool piece that we have on the site, and it's actually really pretty cheap. I think it's like $80 on the site.
Yeah, I think someone linked it further up.
Yeah.
Matt said that we need a legacy BTCC wrap. We actually have one of our customers who does some Gran Turismo, or I don't know, no, it's not Gran Turismo. Maybe it's a set of Corsa liveries and stuff like that. He's been sending us some ideas, but I think it might be a hybrid of what we got going on with our our factory race cars. Oh yeah, he's in Forza, mixed with BTCC style. But we might just have some fun with it. So it's definitely gonna pay homage to the BTCC, but be a little bit unique to that. Let's see. Brewer John just bought a 2.4T. Any upgrade suggestions, Jacob?
2.4T. Yeah, that's so what is it? You have an S60 or V70 2.4T? I mean, those cars, the biggest thing, any turbo car, a downpipe and a tune is a good way to start. That and an intercooler upgrade. Those cars really can use an intercooler upgrade. Yeah, fun cars, sure.
All right. Let's see. All right, guys. I mean, we're happy to stick around, but I'm not sure if anybody has anything else specifically. Someone said he's just joining the chat. What sort of dampers are you now using or plan to use? Are you trying to stick to the FCP catalog, FCP Euro catalog exclusively?
For the most part, we are. I mean, we offer these BC coilovers on the site. BC actually sent us these coilovers to test out on the car. We opted for some custom spring rates, so these are different spring rates than what they normally offer with these coilovers. And we're going to try these out and see how well they work. I couldn't tell you what's in store for the future as far as the dampers. I really don't know, but we'll have to test these out and see how they perform on the track.
Well, I'm sorry, Sporter was asking if we have the front sway bar on. We do.
Yeah, so we're using the stock 850 front sway bar, and I know a lot of you guys, will get like IPD sway bars front and rear, which are great, and they're massive. But on a front-wheel drive car, we have an upgraded rear sway bar, and we have the stock front sway bar. And on a front-wheel drive car, you kind of want to shift. These cars understeer from the factory. Any front-wheel drive car is more likely to understeer. And you kind of want to shift that balance towards the rear as much as you can, help it rotate more. So upgrading the rear bar and leaving the front bar stock can certainly help with that. We'll see how see how it does. If we decide that we do need a larger front bar, then we'll put a larger front bar on. But yeah.
Chuck T's asked where we're going to test the final project. Chuck T's will probably do most of our testing at Lime Rock Park and NJMP, as those are pretty close to us.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully this car will see more than that. Maybe Watkins Glen next year. We might go to some Grid Life events. Maybe it'll go to Gingerman. I don't know. It's also going to be Jacob's first year really tracking a car. So he's obviously done plenty of, I mean, you can talk about your background, but.
Yeah, I mean, I've done autocross and, things of that nature, but nothing like full track days. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be exciting. Lime Rock's like our home track, so it's closest to us. And
about an hour and a half away.
Yeah, so that's probably where we'll initially test the car. But like, there's going to be a lot of development. Like, it's not like, okay, the car's done, we go to the track. Like, we're going to find a lot of things out. We're going to find things wrong. We're going to find things that work, and we're going to make things work better. One thing that I'm really curious about is the Delta Link rear. So that has, the passive rear steer. How does that work on the track? Gonna find out. Maybe it helps a lot, or maybe it feels really weird, and we'll have to figure out a way to lock down the passive rear steer. I know some people in Europe have done, lockdown kits for the Delta Link so they don't move, but that's something we'll, have to cross that bridge when we get there.
Santiago he said he's looking for a 2007 XC90. What should you look for? I'll say just stay posted on our YouTube page for the next month and a half.
Yeah,
we'll be diving really, really deep into the XC90 and really what to look for. We do have some videos out there right now, though. We have a buyer's guide for P2 in general. That's still P2, right?
Yeah, XC, yeah, that's still P2. Yeah, 07 XC90. I mean,
it's
hey,
like forever, right? P2XC90 is like 20 years.
yeah. I mean, V8s are great. I mean, if you can, the V8s have their share of, maintenance that's required, but they're awesome. The XC90 V8s are actually we got one of the girls here that works at the front desk Mylena has an XC90 V8, and
Sounds amazing.
it sounds so good. That V8 sounds amazing.
If we could get this car to sound like that. Matt was asking if the engine's 100% stock, transplanted from an R, no tune or other mods yet.
So this is
definitely not.
no, this is not an R engine. This is
No.
not turbo.
It's an RN engine, but
it's
not
an
R.
RN engine. Yeah. So this was from a P2 V70, and this is a 2.4 liter naturally aspirated 5-cylinder. It's the B5244S, and it's had a CNC ported head, oversized valves, cams, and we've been playing around with a bunch of stuff with it. We've got an M4.4 ECU controlling it to do some tuning, and it's not an R engine, non-turbo.
Yeah. Jacobus says we should sell the vendor branded FCP Euro apparel. We don't disagree with you. We're going to make that change in 2021. 2020 obviously is one of those years, but we had plans to do that, and we're definitely going to be putting out some new apparel for this year.
Yeah, and let us know if you guys want to see some 850 specific.
We talked about maybe some we want to make them, but not if nobody's going to want them. We want to make some 850 specific apparel for this project. We came up with some pretty funny taglines that we think would be pretty fun. Our own little blip shift, or not the blip shift.
Yeah.
Liam, we're not going to say how much power it made yesterday. We are going back to the dyno on Tuesday, and we'll have the full episode next Friday, going into all the details on what we found at the dyno, all the tuning stuff.
Yeah, we don't want to give away the episode. I mean, we want you to go and watch it, right? But let's just say it didn't blow up, so it survived.
Yeah, this is by choice right now. It's in pieces by choice.
It's in pieces by choice. Yeah, we're experimenting. So we have 2 dyno days under its belt, and we'll see what happens.
Cool. That's longer than one of our normal episodes. We should do this more often.
Yeah.
Less work too.
Oh man.
Let's see. All right, guys. Anything else? Will it be fully caged and stripped?
Well, we'll be eventually for sure.
Yeah, it will. That's part of the progression. I mean, we really want to stress the point of doing like one thing at a time, taking to the track, baselining, making a change, seeing what it does, seeing how it feels. So instead of just gutting it, making it as light as we can, and then
we want to do things in steps.
Yeah,
you don't go 0 to 1,000 in one step. We already made a lot of changes to the car as far as the suspension and the engine and all that, but we're going to take it to the track, and we're going to do some more tuning on the suspension. Obviously, eventually more tuning of the engine and cage and rate reduction and all that. But we want to see how those differences, apply to lap times, like tangible,
data.
So Corey, I mean, you guys have seen Corey in all the episodes. He's our motorsports engineer, and I've been grateful to have him. So he's
Corey's all about this project. Turbocharger, are you going to Lime? Yeah, we will be at Lime Rock a few times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we'll probably wrap this up in the next couple of minutes. So if you guys have any other questions, now would be the best time to shoot them. And if not, we'll see you guys next week. We'll wrap up here.
I think we're good. All right. So everybody tune in next Friday, 6 p.m. It will be the actual finale. It won't be Jacob just talking about Volvo stuff.
No. Yep. Yeah, you'll see this thing on the dyno. You'll see how much power this engine makes. And maybe we'll do some driving shots and cruise around a little bit. So,
all right.
I'll see you guys in the next week. Thanks for tuning in.